Thank you very much for having me. It's my pleasure to join you this evening.
All right. So what do you see or make of the suit filed by the 11 PDP governors against Fubara suspension? Futile or a purposeful effort?
Since the proclamation of Mr. President of the state of emergency in Rivers State, I hold a very strong view and I emphasize, though unjustified, orchestrated, unconstitutional, there have been a number of reactions, and I think one of those reactions is the one by the governors on the platform of the People's Democratic Party. It's a justified reaction. It's one that every citizen has a responsibility to uphold the provisions of our Constitution, ensure respect for the Constitution, especially the governors of the respective states who have also sworn to an oath to so uphold the provisions of the Constitution. So it is justifiable for the governors of those states, those People's Democratic Party states, to approach the Supreme Court to give effect of what we all already generally know, that the action of Mr. President, unfortunately, in this particular instance, was unconstitutional. It stretched beyond his constitutional power. And then, of course, even the outcomes of the actions of the sole administrator of Rivers State are clear confirmation that the actions of Mr. President are unconstitutional, because the purported sole administrator, whose position is not known to law, is not known in our Constitution, the powers is arrogating himself, and the actions is taken out in Rivers State. I think they are quite disturbing that across the country, those who are adherents to the Constitution are already condemning those actions. So I think that the Supreme Court should rather even expedite the hearing of those actions that have come before the Supreme Court by the governors of the respective states, or the Attorneys General of these states, really.
Okay, so
I imagine that because of the importance of the matter, that the Supreme Court should quickly and expeditiously set this matter down for hearing and determine one way or the other as spontaneously as they can.
All right, so of course, they are also, that's the governors are also challenging the president's declaration of a state of emergency in Rivers State. But then, are you truly convinced that anything can be done about this rule in terms of a change via a judicial process?
Yes, I even expect that the president himself by this time should have retracted his declaration, and he has the power to so do. And even the National Assembly should have also withdrawn their confirmation of that declaration. They have the power to so do. But since these institutions have failed, and of course, I'm not surprised. I know all of the manipulations from the back end, the roundabout ways to take power, to capture power from Rivers State. Maybe the last resource that is left for those who are dissatisfied will be the judicial resort. But again, to how much of confidence do we have left in the judiciary, even if I'm a lawyer? Because all of these are questions that I think that the Supreme Court, like I said earlier, should have just immediately activated. I understand that the Office of the Honorable Attorney General of the Federation has just reported that the process have not been served on them. I imagine that the governors of those states will make every quick effort to serve him.
Okay,
to serve the Honorable Attorney of the offices that we serve.
All right, so
what's emphatic here, I'm sorry.
Henry, this is very germane to a lot of Nigerians. Now, we see that the sole administrator sacked the 23 local government caretakers and the head of RCEC, and he appointed new administrators, and is also preparing an appropriation bill. Are these constitutional?
They are absolutely not constitutional. I have had reactions on these issues on other platforms. And let me take out first the research that the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission that has been infiltrated. I mean, truly, and I'm deliberate about infiltrated by the unknown, unlawful sole administrator. It is clear, really, if you open from the first section of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria up to the end of the section of the Constitution, there is no reference whatsoever of the office of a sole administrator, or even the function of a sole administrator for a state. So to that extent, I maintain that it's unconstitutional. So, including the action of the sole administrator purportedly to infiltrate the establishment of the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, which is a creation of the Constitution itself, and then, of course, a creation further of the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission law of Rivers State. So the Sole Administrator didn't have and does not have and will never in any way legitimately have any power to also infiltrate that commission, disengage the lawfully appointed and constituted commission. And then right now, you could see clearly, Nigerians who are watching could see what indeed the motive of this declaration of state of emergency really is. It's not about coming to ensure any peace and security in Rivers as if there was any breakdown of law and order. There wasn't in any way. So you could see because it's jobless. The Sole Administrator is jobless. It doesn't have anything to do precisely on the mandate that he was given. It's beginning to do things that he wasn't even asked to do. Getting into a commission that was established, that even the governor of the state who was elected didn't have the express power to remove the chairman of the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission himself, just expressly like that by a proclamation. No, he didn't have, because that was a constitutional body and also a statutory body, and those appointees are tenured appointees. But a Sole Administrator just comes and like a decree, and they have done so. Now the motive is so that they can manipulate the electoral process to the local government councils in Rivers State. That's another way to hijack and capture the local governments in Rivers State. For whosoever interest, I think the Sole Administrator knows. Then again, the Rivers State Internal Revenue Service is another agency that has been infiltrated. And that's clear also about the financial intention, the definite objective to get into the finances of Rivers. Otherwise, did he come here to generate revenue for Rivers State or to control the source of revenues in Rivers State? Absolutely not. Not even the purported declaration of Mr. President that is unlawful and unconstitutional that vested him that power. And again, right now we have heard appointments are being made. You're setting up structures. I was surprised, I'm sorry, by the time I was surprised that the Sole Administrator was justifying that, oh, he went around the state. It's not true. He has not gone to my local government. How did he know the person he has purportedly appointed the Sole Administrator?
Okay, Henry.
How many weeks has he been in?
Henry, permit me to, because we need to end this now, but permit me to just quickly ask you this. How would you have expected him to administer over Rivers State without having to put these structures in place for 6 months?
Yes, he did. We got it wrong from the outset. Mr. President got it wrong. And that's why we have advocated that the powers vested in Mr. President, pursuant to Section 305, particularly subsection 3, never envisaged a situation where these institutions that existed would have been infiltrated and, of course, dismantled. Okay. So what the Sole Administrator would have done, though not justified in any way, even in that aberration, is to come and see whether there was actually truly breakdown of law and order. And where there was none, like he did affirm that there was none, he said Rivers State was peaceful, they would have just simply reported to Mr. President that in case you are misled or misinformed, I've gone here and there's no job for me to do. The people are peaceful, they're going about their businesses, my children are going to school, I am going to work. Even the federal institutions and agencies of government in Rivers State are functional. Federal Secretariat is functional, everybody goes to work and comes back. Okay. So that's the first thing he was to do. Apparently from the outset, we never needed to get to this point where we have a Sole Administrator. Mr. President would have allowed these institutions to stay and deploy security agents, hardware and software, and then even fund security to help the governor of Rivers State if there was even any breakdown of law and order. So the issue about the Sole Administrator was completely a no-no from the outset.
Okay. Henry Ekine, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us on the news.